Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you back to Garden Scroll. Oh, yesterday was the first day of spring. We're having some really hot days in the 90s, like for the last 3 days. But it's going to change. Next week the temperature is going to be more normal for us, for our spring weather. And I wanted to tell you a few things. Like, one of them is that I did have my cataract surgery done. I did not do so well with it as I hoped simply because I don't know why really, but the thing is I could see things and I'd point out to my husband, I can still read that, and it's not blurry, and I have to strain a little bit, to see it, but I can see it. And so I thought, now after I get this done, I'll see everything better, sharper, and clearer, because I can't ever tell black from navy blue unless I get it in the natural light. And I thought that'll change, everything will be great. But actually it wasn't. I don't see as well as I did before. But I can still see. I did not go blind. So therefore, I finished my book. That's a wonderful feeling until I found out, technology and anything like that has moved so far beyond me that there's no way I'm going to get it ready to sell on Amazon without some help. So I'm stalled again. But I won't totally quit. And pray for me if you pray, and have time to put me in there too. That I will get someone who'll help me with that and get that all finished and get it on Amazon. And I hope you read it and I hope you love it. But I was going to say also that the people that worked with me, my surgeon, everybody that just helped me out and did the things for me to prepare me for the surgery, everything, they were wonderful. They were nice. They were so good to me. I usually don't even like to go get glasses because I'm so uncomfortable in such a strange to me place. But this time, I don't know, I had a little optometrist, and I would tell you his name, but I'm not sure that he would want me to. But he was great. He was so great. He put me at ease and helped me out. And so I really have no bad feelings about having it done. It's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can still see, even though it's not quite as good as it was before. But the people were so nice to me, and I just felt good about doing as good as you can about doing something that I really didn't feel ready for yet. And I should have listened to my own feelings, but I didn't. I'm like, these people know more than I do, and I'm going to follow them. But actually, it was the wrong time for me. I had too much going, and it just stressed me out. But it's okay. It's over, and we're moving forward. So this sums up pretty well what I've been doing in the garden, and not nearly enough of it. I've been trying to get things straightened out and going with my book, and I've neglected to do this, especially when it was cool enough to do it without suffering. But I'll get it done sometime. And right now this part of it does look good to me because it is cleaned out. And that's the part I love about spring, is when that spring cleanup is over. And then, of course, I actually like planting and making it look beautiful again. I do like that part. And so even though it is still a job and it's pretty rough on an old person's body, I've been telling my husband that I've gotten fragile in my old age, and it's actually true. But we laugh about all the things we can still laugh about, and it's easy to see that I have not gotten very far with my cleanup. There's still so much to do, although my husband actually did trim my crepe myrtles down for me, which is great. But over half of my garden still looks like this, where I need to clean things up, take the old dead debris off, and let it start anew and afresh from the root, and go upward with beautiful fresh greenery. And look at this, so many of my, just because I put a little bit of plastic around them where they could still get some water, which we had very little. We had 2 snows that gave us a little bit of moisture, and that's just about all. We haven't even gotten our spring rains, but once we get them, I think that things will take off and start to go. We did have some winds that blew this little pot off, but I've cleaned it out, and I'll either try to put it up there or have my husband, better idea, to put that back for me. But I'm pretty sure we'll have to get a new little thing for it to hang on to. I was so excited when I got that last sentence written in my book, but now I'm right back to not knowing when or if I'll get it finished. One thing, I need to be out here. You can see that for sure. The green is growing up and the old dead stuff is still there, and that's not good. Of course, I always have it like that to some extent, but not always to this extent. Still have grasses that need to be clipped. So much that needs to be done. But I know it has the potential to be beautiful. And outside of so much clipping and cutting and getting up and down for this old person, I just want to get it all done, and so I can enjoy it, because I do enjoy it when it's clean again. I always remember what Ruby said one day when she came out to see the garden. I think she came out to get some starts of some mums, and then she just looked around and just kept saying, "So clean, it's so clean, it's so pretty, and it's so clean." But you know, she knew exactly what it looks like before the cleaning. Probably that's what makes you realize that it is clean once you get it cleaned out. And I do want to do it, and we're going to have some cooler weather, a little bit cooler, and I'm going to be out here. But right now I also not only have the book to think about, but I also have just a plethora of things that I want to do. I want to go see our former pastor and his wife. They were so good to me, and I just love them. I still think about them all the time. But we do have a good interim pastor too. I really like him too. So, you know, God's got it all under control, even when I don't know what he's doing, and he doesn't always tell me what he's doing. Can you imagine that? But anyway, he is so good to me, and I love him so much. I do have most all of my plastic off, which makes the whole garden look better even before you get it cleaned out. And for that matter, all this part of the garden has been cleaned out, and so that's another great thing. And all of the front has been cleaned out. Also, I was telling you what I wanted to do, some of the things I want to do, and one of them is to go see my husband's cousin, my husband's cousin's wife, because she said she didn't want to lose touch with us, and we're planning on going to be with her and just visit, and maybe go to Mears and have a meal together with Ronnie's twin brother and his wife, and that sounds like fun. And I think I already told you I want to go see Jetty. I've got to do that one more thing for help her with her garden, and before the days get hot so long in a row that I can't leave the garden, and usually that's all summer long. Once I start planting, even in the spring, then it has to be watered until those little ones get their roots down and get going. It can't really miss a day. But after that, hopefully things will look up a bit. But I'm anxious to go see my sister and her family. I've already told you those little children of hers are just so wonderful and make me feel so good. So glad they're in my family. Yesterday I clipped back old dead stuff, but this is the front, and I do have it cleaned out. I have done it, and also not only this side of it, but the other side too. It's already clipped back and ready to go with something new, or I may just have some volunteer seeds come back from my alyssum here, but we'll just see it. We'll wait and see how it goes, and as I get around to it, sometimes I replant too early and dig up the seeds that would have came up, but that's okay too. But some of it I will wait on and see if I get something to come up in some of these little pots from last year. But what I wanted to show you is, this is the catmint, and I did get my sister catmint last year, and she said their neighbor's cat rolled around in the one pot until it's no longer there. But I've got her some more catmint for that pot, and also I wanted to tell you that I thought about putting little plastic forks in there, put the handle that you hold in the ground and let the little fork come up where the cat wouldn't be so interested in rolling around in it. And my friend Susie told me that her mother would put the little wooden skewers in there and leave the sharp point sticking up. And so I think that's going to be my next plan, to do that. So we'll see how that goes. And this is a rose. I forgot the name of it, but oh, it's a beautiful rose. It's just one tiny little stalk of it there in this pot right here, but it has two colors in it, and it has so many different looks from the two colors, because it's cream and like a neon pink, and sometimes it's a real pale pink, and sometimes it's a very bright pink, and sometimes it's a blend of the two colors, and sometimes it's cream edged in neon pink. So I think she's going to love it, and I'm pretty sure God picked this one out for her, because I went to every rose I had to see if I had a little stem coming up that was not hooked to the main stem, so I could take it out, and this was the one I found. It's looking just a wee bit wilty this morning, but I think that's just because we have had some of the really hot weather, and it's kind of struggling a bit, but I think it's going to be fine, and I think it's going to be wonderful for her. And then this is the sedum, the Plum Dazzling sedum. I wanted to be sure and get her some of this, and I would like to get her a little container to put this in, but I'm not sure about that right now. And I also purchased her the bright purple pretty clematis in this little trellis for it to grow up, and I got this little pot ready for her. I knew that I wanted to get her some of the lipstick blonde hosta. I just think this is so pretty, and so far it's been coming back for me every year, and I think it will fill this little pot up for her and be beautiful. And see, right there is representative of her, because when she was little, like I was 16 when she was born, and I figured, our lives would go separate ways and we wouldn't be all that close, but that did not happen. She still considers me coming home, and I'm so grateful, and I love her so much. But when she was a little girl, I called her my teddy bear, and I called her sister, just 2 years older than her, my angel. And they remembered that. I asked my sister Christine, is there anything you want me to put in my book about you? Because I've got all my other sisters, there's certain things, because I do feel that it's not really my story if they're not included in it, because we're a set, and it takes all 6 of us to make a complete set. And as I've told you, we have one more in heaven. She didn't live very long. She had the sudden infant death syndrome, and my mama always said that she would wake me up every time I fell asleep to make sure that I was still alive. But my sister Christine, that's what she said. Well, did you put that Jetty was your teddy bear and that I was your angel, and I still am? So I'm gonna try to incorporate that in my book before it's totally finished. And then my next step will be there's one little quote that I wanted to use from a theme song, and I may still get to use that, or I may not. It hasn't come back, the verdict's still out on that. So, but if I don't get it soon, I'm going to have to just do without it and not try to keep getting it, because I've got to get it copyrighted so that I can get someone to proofread it and to edit it and all the things that really need to happen before I can actually put it out for sale. My husband and I came out probably a little bit over a week ago now and planted some seeds in our seed box. I'm trying to get that squirrel for you over there, but I think I may just have it all blurry. This is our seed box, and look at all the little plants coming up. These are radishes. For some reason he got into planting radishes, and I'm going to take this with my finger and just poke it down a little because its root is, or its stem is sticking up there, and I'm going to press it down against it so that maybe it'll have a better chance of living. I think this is probably a weed, but I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. And the ones that look like this are bells of Ireland. I don't know what these little ones are, but I'm hoping they're poppies, because I did plant poppies in here. But I think most of these that are coming up so prolifically are just volunteer petunias. So, and I have a neighbor just 2 houses over, and she loves petunias, and so we're trying to get some started in her a place for hers where they can just drop and come back too, like these do. So that's the plan, to do that and help her with that if I can. She said she wasn't sure hers came back yet, but you know, these didn't come back for several years, and then they just got enough, and just times everything was just perfect for them to come up, and they are just coming up like crazy. Of course, we could still have, and these are, of course, are the helicopter seeds from the maple tree, which this what this one is, and it is actually in my neighbor's yard, but we get the seeds too. But it's okay. I used to have a maple tree, so I know what all that's about. And I'll try to get some of those out of there. I'm going to try to keep this little pampas grass that's coming up here, but you know, I have another one over in this area, and I came over a little closer, but this one I'm going to spray and try to take it out. I don't want it to come up there, because as you can tell, there's another little rose right here beside it, and once it gets up tall, it blocks the sun from my rose. And since I have 2 of these anyway, and they're pretty hard to trim down every spring or fall, I think I'm taking it out, and then just hoping that the rose will do better and just keep going and become a great beauty one day. And I did walk away from my seed box over here, but I don't know if I told you that we may still have another freeze, and I'll have to come out and see if I can cover those. But I'm kind of beginning to feel like that's probably not going to happen now, but you never can tell. Things can change in an hour or less, of course. But usually with the weather, we do have some indication from the weathermen what might happen. And I think I may have skipped over, when I was telling you what I had ready for my sister, I may have skipped over this little woody salvia in bright pink when it blooms, and she's going to love this. It doesn't look like much now, but it will take off and become like a little bush, just like a 2 by 3 bush at least, and maybe bigger. And it blooms. It's perennial, and when it starts blooming, it doesn't quit until fall. And usually that doesn't happen with perennials. So when you find a perennial that blooms all season like an annual and comes back after the freeze like a perennial that it is, you know you found a little treasure. But I am anxious to get it all cleaned out so I can start filling it all up. I'll put Impatiens in this pot again. At least that's my plan. And they have looked so good in here when this all fills up with it. It's just like one big billow of Impatiens. I'm not sure what color I want yet. I'll kind of wait and see what's out there to choose from. And I'll just see one that will catch my eye and I will go for it. And I don't know if I told you, but I went down to our local library, you know, begging for help. And they have someone at the library that will help people, like us older people, that maybe have to have a computer or have to have something we can sign up to something for that will be of some aid to us. And I didn't know they had such a thing. And I went down and talked to her, and she just made me feel so good about things, even though I still don't know how to do anything. And she showed me, so I do have a concept of it, but to actually be able to go in and do it, I am not familiar enough with to feel anything but just anxiety over it. But what she told me was, what you have here is really good. And she said, you've got the hard part done. And of course I feel just the opposite. You know, I'd almost rather write another book than try to do that, all that stuff with formatting and templates and sizes, page sizes and all that. But somebody that really knows how to do it could do it without any problem, evidently. Like my pastor has done one. My now pastor has done a book. It's a small book, but it's a very well written book, and it's like a study over, I guess, like a finding your worth, and it's just so good. And also he did it in a hard copy book, so it's actually one of the best books I've ever looked at to try to figure out how to do my own book. But actually he showed me how simple it was, and then he just did a few little slides on his phone and said, and that's all there is to it. So I'm pretty sure that some people would really see it like that, but I don't. Everything that they showed me, I had another question about it, but evidently other people have too, because all through every page there was about 3 other places to take you to another page that would tell you about those things. And it was just like I was getting bogged down more and more with every step I took. But when I explained that to her, she said, well, you're going to have some help. And I would recommend going to the college library and seeing, because they have people that are actually studying to be editors for books. And they will help you with that. And I said, but won't it just cost me twice when I still have to get Amazon to do it professionally for me? And she said, no, they will count as professionals because they are going into that field. And so hopefully I will be able to do that. I just hope I can find somebody as wonderful as she was to me, because she said, what you have here is very good. And when you get it all ready, let me know. I would love to read it. So she encouraged me, lifted me up, and I feel better about it than I have since the day I found out it was going to be a lot more entailed than I had any idea of. And I've missed getting to show you the forsythias in their pretty yellow glory. But all the bracts were out, or maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, and they did look good. And you know, right before those 3 days of 90 degrees, we also had, I think 3 days of, at least 2, of 20 degrees. So They were nipped in the bud, and I think they're gone till next year. But I can't hardly tell you what a good feeling it is to know that you've done something you wanted to do ever since you were 15 years old. And of course, I thank God for letting me do that. Now I just pray He'll help me get it fixed where it'll be all correct and ready to sell. Here's my little forsythia in the back, which didn't get nipped quite as badly, but it's not as beautiful as it was before that 20-degree weather. And back to my book. I may have to wait until winter anyway, which may be a good deal because I can hardly do the garden and the book. They both just take so much out of you, especially out here in this kind of heat, which is most usually all summer long once it gets started. But I'm hoping that we still have some pretty spring weather done too. And as you can see, I did not get all these old hoses off, up, and out of here. But I would still love to do that. But, you know, I always love to do more than I can get done. But I was also thinking that if I go to the college library, and here it is, the end of March, and then in May they'll all be gone. And so unless I can get somebody that can help me with it that quickly, you know, it may be better to wait until winter to try again, but I'll see how that works out. So I'm very anxious to get it all cleaned out, and I do think there will come a time when I will just have to have some help doing this and hire some help to do it if I possibly can. Well, and again, I'll just have to see how that goes too. Our forsythias were so pretty, so beautiful before that 20-degree weather. So right now they're probably all the blooms are gone till next year. And this is another thing I got for my sister's garden, because you know when you get the water out there and then the birds come to it and you've got movement in the garden and you can sit just a little ways off from them, they'll get used to you and you can just sit there and watch nature as it happens. She's going to love it. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel, and we will see how much of the 2026 garden we can get on record.